there's certain obligations for that king too. If he's supposed to write a copy of the law, he's supposed to know it well, he's supposed to lead by those principles. They are reflecting in these words a lot of what Deuteronomy 17 has to say. So, just a little note there. Samuel had also talked to the people about this in 1 Samuel 10:25. We're just giving like a summary statement there. But when Saul was becoming king, David reminded the people about these rights and responsibilities that they had to the king and that the king had to them and to God. So what is significant about David being the shepherd of God's people? That's what he's called in verse 2. They recognized that the Lord said to you, you shall be shepherd of my people Israel, you shall be prince over Israel. Why shepherd? Gary.
He's in the seed of these shepherds, our shepherds.
Yeah, so there is some foreshadowing there, that Jesus is our chief shepherd. That's part of it. What else? Aaron?
It's all the imagery that goes along with the shepherd of protecting the flock from danger, leading them where they need to go, providing for them. There's a lot of imagery with the shepherd.
Yes.
That's in a very loving way, and not in a ruthless type of ruling with an iron fist, which I'm sure was very common during that time.
Yeah.
With kings and rulers. When you think of a shepherd, you don't think of someone being very, very harsh with their people.
Yeah.
Even though David is a very fierce leader and on battlefield, he's got that compassion and love.
Yeah, absolutely. It calls to mind this idea of responsibilities that you have, of a type of guidance and leadership, that you're supposed to lead those sheep to the food that they need and protect them and give them that kind of guidance. So yeah, that is a really important thing. Yeah, got it. So a selfish person who has the opportunity to become king would say, this is the chance to show my power. And this is a chance for me to have everything I ever wanted. Because as king, I've got an army behind me. And I can tell all of you people, come bring me your offerings, bring me the taxes, bring me the tributes, say good things about me all the time, make a giant statue of me. That's what a lot of people are thinking about with the leadership, with being a king, all of the perks that they get and the power they have to enforce those perks. But there's a lot of responsibility to being king over a nation and a duty to actually lead and guide the people. And they need better guidance than what they had with Saul. Okay, why did David go to war against the Jebusites? That's the next thing we read about, that he starts fighting against these people. Mark.
We were on the list. The original occupation, we're taking over the land. And we're being taken out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the reason. I didn't do that.
That is one of the reasons. So yes, they're on the list being what we saw in Joshua, right? Or what we also saw in the promise even before Joshua, of the people that were supposed to be wiped out, the people that God had judged and that Israel was going to be the hand of judgment against. But the Jebusites were not wiped out. That was part of the failure of what happened in that generation. Okay?
So they were occupying Jerusalem.
Hmm.
And he wanted his center. So he had them attacked, and they told him that he couldn't
Yeah.
capture them. But
Mark?
We insult
Oh, yeah.
and his army.
Yeah. Saying that, the blind and the lame will ward you off. So we got to talk about this, right? So the Jebusites are inhabiting Jerusalem. We know Jerusalem is a very important city for Israel. They don't have it yet. That's why Saul reigned from Gibeah. David was reigning from Hebron. Like, Jerusalem has not been part of Israel so far because the Jebusites still inhabit it. And Jerusalem is a fortress city. It's Mount Zion. It's not an easy one to go take. And David wants this city as his royal city for a few important reasons. Like, a fortress city is a great option for a capital, but also they're on the list of people who are already supposed to be wiped out, people that God had already judged. And also, where and what is Hebron? David's been reigning from Hebron so far. Why might he not want to keep reigning from Hebron?
Well, it's in Judah.
It's a city of Judah, and it is known as a city of Judah. And David is a man of Judah, and David was first accepted by Judah. And David doesn't really want to be king over Judah plus some other tribes. It's king over Israel. Anyone you remember from history lessons you might have had, the transition that the United States went through of being a group of states kind of loosely bound together to being more of a nation. If you read like old documents, they used to say these United States. Now we say the United States, as in we are a singular nation, not a collection of states that are only loosely affiliated with each other. One of the things that we did in our history to try to have better centralized leadership was the carving out of Washington, D.C., because there was a lot of question of where is the president going to lead from, to rule from. Well, if you let it be from one of the states, that state is the most important one. And some of these were bigger and more powerful, and the other states didn't like that. So they carved out a land that's not part of any of the states. It's the District of Columbia, and it's a new city that's not part of any of them. David is essentially carving out his DC. Now, Jerusalem is going to be like in one of the tribes, but it's not really affiliated with any of the tribes right now. So it's not Judah.